Shalom. So we're going to look at Mark chapter 16 and verse 9. It says, "Now when Jesus was risen early, the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had cast 7 devils." Now, when it comes to casting out demons, that topic is very, especially in the Hebrew community. Hebrew community, because of the belief system that is pushed, right? A lot of people also are coming from the Christian background, and they're coming from like denominations like Adventists. And we know that Adventists hold no belief in the spirit. They use the term, they will use the word, but they hold no belief in the word spirit, right? So when it comes to real life experiences, they will tell themselves stories instead of dealing with the actual reality that there are spirits, and spirits do inhabit bodies, and spirits can be summoned to do things, right? Now, let's think about this woman having 7 devils. This is not going to show up in a certain way, like where you cannot, where it is easy to be recognized, right? So a person can be out there affected by these demons and don't even know, because their life is still functioning quote unquote normal to them. That is how it's going to look, normal, just as a lot of us today, right? Our lives seem to be pretty going pretty normal, but in reality a lot of us are possessed, right? Now this topic also might disturb the ego, especially if it is contrary to what you hold on to. And this is what a lot of us are really doing. A lot of us are just serving an ideology. We are just serving a belief, right? However, when you deal with a person who has 7 devils, what happens is that different areas of your life are under attack, right? Your jobs, finances, your relationships, your families, and also there's another aspect that I have not mentioned, because that I will have to deal with separately, right? And that is the physical part, your body, your organs, your health, right? That's a whole different level. So I'm just going to touch on the basics now, right? So, how does this look in terms of a person's job that is under attack? You might be a top employee, you might have the potential to go to the next level. Like if there's a position available, you would be the first candidate to get that position that is available, right? In terms of climbing the ladder. However, the person that is above you, that can recommend you or say, yes, you are fit for this position, you are usually in conflict with that person. So every time that you are supposed to elevate, you've been with the company for so long, but every time you are to go to that next level, there's always this conflict with that person or people that is preventing you from growing, right? And you do have the ability to, you have the potential, you have everything, but you just cannot get along with the person that is above you in authority, right? So that is one way how it shows up in your job. You have to realize the environment, your relationship with your work colleagues are, and people who are in authority, right? Another way is your finances, right? When these spirits are summoned, they will attack your finances, and attacking your finances doesn't mean that you're not going to be handling money. The problem is you might be handling a lot of money, you just cannot keep it, right? So if it is something you invest in, guess what? It's still going to be like a hand to mouth, right? You might be handling a lot of money, but you find out that you keep sending it back out. As you get it, it keeps going out. It's like burning to put the money in a bag of holes, right? So it will show up in that way also in your family expenses. So probably um, you'll have problem with the father of your child or children, where he might not be maintaining the child to spite you. Sometimes it's not just a man being spiteful to you. Sometimes there are spirits that are attacking you in these ways, right? So they'll attack your finances to make sure that you're not keeping any money. And also, like I mentioned about the physical part, you might be having sicknesses that you just keep going to the doctor and spending a lot of money and not getting the results you want, no matter how good these doctors are, because the problem that you're having is not their line of work. It's just like if you have a bone problem, you go to a bone specialist, right? If you have an eye problem, you go to an optician. If you have a problem with the tooth, you go to a dentist. You have to go to the specific physician that is needed to fix the problem. And what happens when you take too long to cast out these demons is that your body become useless to you. They have taken it over to the point where you cannot come back, and you're just moving on autopilot. Basically, you're so destroyed that you cannot fit in with anything that is normal. You cannot have a normal relationship with people. There's always going to be confusion. Also, there is the spirit that whenever you're communicating, for example, if someone says something to you, no matter how polite the person says it, you are hearing something different, because that spirit is kind of, it's like it's translating to you, right? So the person might be even giving you a compliment, and you're going to interpret it as the person is being disrespectful, and then you're going to lash out at that person. If the person is not conscious, if the person is not an aware person, then his or her ego is going to react to your ego, and then two egos are going to be in conflict with each other, not knowing that there is a spirit that is causing all these things, that is causing all these dysfunction things in your relationships, how you relate to people, right? Also, as you can see, you remember where they caught this woman in the adultery act and so forth. Another thing is that when these spirits are on you, it causes these things. Your self-esteem is broken. You start to see yourself lower, and then you are living your life to feed the beliefs that these spirits are showing you. So this is why adultery is going to be a must. Also, your relationships, even if you should try a relationship, you are not passing 4 months. Every 4 months you're changing partner. And even if you meet a person who, because some people they have different spirits, right? Some people have different spirits that can go against those demons that are on you. So you'll find yourself in a relationship that might last longer, but you are going to destroy it in some shape, form, or fashion. Is that you're going to either behave some ways that like you cannot be talked to, like you cannot listen to anyone. It's like you have an anger problem. So even if the guy is humble and is trying his best with you, you are going to push him away, right? Also, it's going to show up in other ways where you're going to be with, you might meet another guy, but guess what? When you're under attack, sometimes you will get dreams too. And yes, some Hebrews, they take things out of context. They just look for one scripture, one set of scriptures that speak one way about a certain matter. So they'll go to dreams, lift up fools, and these things to say, oh, don't listen to those dreams. And your dreams are important, right? Because if you dream something and you experience what you dreamt about, then you have to know that that was a direct message. It was real, right? So sometimes what you will see in those relationships is that you get dreams, but between you and the guy, there's a beast, there's some animals that are dangerous, that are devouring. You understand? You will see things like snakes and those types of creatures. So something is between you and the guy, right? So that is one way. That is another way that all these demons show up in your life. Now with family, just as I mentioned about relationship with other people, it's the same thing with your family. Your family members, they might be talking to you, you're hearing something totally different, and then you are being triggered. So you just you're always miserable, and there is no peace in that home, right? And what is also going to do is it's going to drive you to leave a home where you are where you are like you're in there, you're not paying that rent, say you're in your family's home, you might be contributing to bills and so forth, but because of the constant conflicts in the home make it miserable, right? So you no longer can stay in there, you can no longer stay in there, and then it drives you to go to find a place to rent, and again your finances under attack, right? Your finances under attack. So that is how it works. It makes it hard for you to have relationships with anyone, and then it drives you to the point now where it's like you say, you know what, everyone is messed up, family, friends, relationships, I'm just gonna avoid men. You understand? And guess what, because you need that job to maintain those bills, again your finances, you will keep up with the stress from your job. That's the only stress you're gonna put up with, but you're gonna cut off friends, families, and everything. Now, guess what happens when you're isolated? That is what it wants. That is your breaking point. That is when it finally gets into the door, and the spirits, they do whatever they want with you, right? And in another video, I'll talk about closing those doors, right? So for now, this is what happens. This is how it looks, right? Makes it hard for you to have relationship with people. Yes, you'll have sex with guys here and there, but that's pretty much it, and you probably don't see anything wrong with it. Right? So no, removing these spirits, right? What can you do to help this? Now, I made a video earlier about water baptism. If it clean, can it remove spirits or what? Yes, it does help, right? So in order to fix this, you need a baptism, right? Now this baptism is going to deal with 50% of what you're going through, right? It's going to deal with 50%, because the next 50, the knowledge or the word, will close the door. And that is the most important part, closing the door. So if you do this half of the work and you don't do the other half, guess what? You're going to call those spirits back to you, right? So it's very different from in things in this modern world. Like you can go to the doctor for a certain problem, and they never told you what the source of your problem is. So say for example you're eating a certain food and it's making you sick. They're not gonna tell you, okay, stop eating the pork because it stays longer in your bloodstream, and then it causes all these different problems. They're not gonna stop you from eating it. So you continue doing the sin, calling back the demons, because it's automatic. Once you do the sin, there's that spirit there waiting to do what it needs to do, right? So when you do this, also another thing with family, sometimes some jealousy is coming from family, and this one can be very serious, right? So when they put a certain spirit on you, guess what? One of the things they will prevent is marriages are stable relationships. Marriages, stable relationships. Especially if you're a beautiful woman in appearance, your physique, everything, and that jealousy is there, and you have certain potential to climb the ladder, right? Whatever it is in life, you have the potential to get it first. Other females, your cousins, aunts, nieces, whoever, they will do these things to you, right? So you'll have some attacks that are coming from family member, you'll have some that are coming from friends, and so forth. And this is why it is dangerous, because seven devils, you're under attack from different areas, right? It might be coming from it might be coming from your child's father. No, you end the relationship with him, he's displeased with it. No, his thought is that if I cannot get you, no other men will. So the rest of your life will be miserable. Miserable, right? So you might be under attack from him, you might be under attack from cousins, aunts, and like I mentioned before, right? And you might be under attack from in your job. Maybe the next person who wants the position that is available sees you as a threat. So that person, your work colleague, you become a threat to that person. So you're under attack there as well, right? So attacks can be coming from different angles, and this is why it's difficult, right? So you might clear one part, and then somebody else is attacking you. So this is why we don't condemn the woman that they caught in the adulterous act, because the Messiah understand the spirituality of it. We only see the carnal part, that oh, she's wicked because she has a husband and she slept with another man. This is why it's important to heal, to clean yourself, to evaluate yourself while you're single before you get into relationship. And this is why it's important to go through the proper procedures before getting involved in a relationship. Otherwise, you're gonna have to put up with all these problems that your wife is going through, right? And if the man becomes impatient, he's gonna leave her, making it worse, continuing this cycle of dysfunctional relationships, right? Now, like I said, what do you need to do here? You need to find a river, right? That's important. You find a river, some running water, right? Then you're going to get a bottle of Florida water, not the one that looks like the rubbing alcohol, but one the bottle that looks like the like alcohol that you drink from, like the vodka. It looks like that, right? Now you're also going to get red label wine. You mix them both together, you get into that river, and you pour it from the head down. It's above to below, right? So you let it run down on your body, right? Then you're going to turn 3 times, and then you are going to dip 3 times, and each time you do this, you go Psalms 31 and 15. No, let me just get that. Oh, hold on. Yep. Let's go to Psalms 31 and 15. This was when David was under attack from his enemies. Now it says, my times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of mine enemies and from them that persecute me. So you're going to ask the Most High to deliver you from the hands of your enemy, from your enemies, and also to free you from the bonds of the wicked. Right? Each time you go down, you come up, you recite that precept, and when you leave the water, it's important. Do not, let me write this in red. Do not look back. This is very important. Alright? So whatever energies you're releasing, you leave them behind. No. Another thing I'm going to show you is what is important when dealing with this, because this is under attack. This is under attack. Right? So they're messing with the way you prosper. No. Let's read Revelations 22. Let's go to Revelations 22 and verse 2. This is also important. The book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 2. It says, in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Right? Now, first thing, there is no physical tree on earth that brings forth fruit every month. So this is talking about the moon, right? So the moon, the constellations, which goes into the tree of life, is important for the healing of the nations, right? No, I'm going to show you the positive side of this. So I'm going to show you the tree of life side of it, right? The tree of knowledge, good and evil, I'll do that differently. No, the black moon, this, as we know, is darkness. We know what darkness is synonymous with, right? No, when the light is in the increasing stage, because you want to prosper, right? Because you want to prosper, you're going to use the increasing phase of the moon. So anywhere in this stage, it's okay for you to go and do this, right? No, again, as I said, a lot of people will confuse this with wickedness and try to place their negative intention and this action to make it wicked, right? No, you cannot do that. No, it's okay to do good on the Sabbath day. If you want to use the John the Baptist ministry to heal, then if you can go to the Jordan River and the appointed time, the feast days, the weekly Sabbath, and so forth, and you can go and remove these spirits, then you go and do that method, right? If you want to use herbs and this, as I said, this is how you get rid of these things, and do not pretend as if these things are not happening in people's lives. All right? So like I said, you use this time to do it, and this is how you help clean yourself from negative energy. This is how you cast out devils that are attacking you in different areas of your life. All right. Shalom.